Hi, welcome to GCDub, a game-changing podcast. My name is Jennifer Smith. I am here with my wonderful co-host, Matt Souza. How are you, Maddie?
Jenny, always great. I've been told off air that this is our ninth episode, which is a hell of an
hmm
accomplishment. Something we should be very proud of, I think.
I agree, even though we did take last month off because I
Hmm.
had, a whole month of freak out drive-ins to do, which was very good. And thank you for being on. And
Hmm.
thank you guys to everybody who listened, downloaded, commented on that. And we have our very first guest 9 episodes in. You might know him from right here on the North South Connection on Wrestling Warzone, going through the Monday Night Wars with JT Rosero. We have our friend Chad Campbell. How are you, Chad?
Doing good, yeah. When you get to double digits, that's when you got to start recruiting the
Hmm.
big guns to come in. So
Hmm.
hmm
Hmm.
all nine
That's right.
episodes already made it a lot longer than a lot of PTB and no so adjacent podcasts. So congrats.
That's very true. If you're joining us on video, you can see Chad, you can see me and Maddie, of course, and then you'll see some video later from a show that Chad and I attended, and so we'll get to that a little later in the show. But we have a lot to talk about. So I know when I think GCW, I think Chad Campbell. So it's super awesome to have you on the show. I have been to a show with you before. We'll get into it later, but at least you know what's up. I A lot of people are slow on the GCW, and I'm glad that you're not.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm like, well, like the GCW lineage goes back to what 2001 or whatever with the Jersey J Cup. One of the first indie tapes I ever got was a East Side Connection comp that had the Jersey J Cup from 2001 that had Low Key, Mike Quackenbush, Red, all those guys on there. So I'm pretty OG on the GCW
Yeah,
thing.
you are pretty OG.
Hmm.
That's more than I thought. All right, so let's get into our notes. We're not really going to talk much about September. We kind of just, I don't want to say skipped, but we skipped September. And at least for our purposes on this show, they were overseas. Let's just say that in Liverpool,
Hmm.
and Germany, a couple shows over there for most of the month. So where does that leave us picking back up at, Matt?
Well, that leaves us at GCW Fight Club 2023 Night 1 The Art of War Games in Atlantic City, is where that leaves us. That was from October 7th. We watched the main event of this show live, watched it about a month ago, so go watch that if you haven't. But the rest of the
Yes.
card was Alec Price beating Tony Deppen. Joey Janela defeated Jack Cartwheel, Jordan Oliver, and Masha Slamovich. Charles Mason defeated Richard Holiday. SG Super Cunt, which was one called Manders, Ali Catch, Effie, Mance Warner, and Sawyer Reck, defeated a bunch of guys, which was the name of the
hmm
team, of Braden Toon, Cole Radrick, Dylan McKay, Marcus Mathers, and Shane Mercer. Blake Christian defeated Jimmy Lloyd to retain the GCW World title. And in the War Games match, it was Team GCW, which was Cyclope, John Wayne Murdoch, Miedo Extremo, Nick Gage, and Rina Yamashita. They defeated Team Freedoms, which was Jun Kasai, Masashi Takeda, Takashi Sasaki, Toru Segura, and Valento Jack. So
We liked the War Games match, from what I recall.
we sure it was very. I've apparently seen the War Games match twice, and I remember one of them. So, but it was
hmm
it was
Well,
it
that's
was
good.
very good. Yeah, it was very good.
What else from this card? Anything that stands out?
Blake and Jimmy Lloyd was kind of weird. It was like 7.5 minutes. It was just like a real quick. It kind of felt like just a way to get Blake Christian on the show, which was weird.
hmm
Which I get. I mean, the main event went like 45 minutes, so I get that the undercard is going to be short. And it felt like a way just to get Blake Christian on the card. SG Super Cunt was a very first of all, that's fun to say, and second of all, it's a fun team. One called Manders, Alley Catch, just that whole crew was just super
hmm
fun to see. And Charles Mason still doing his thing too, just beating the hell out of basically anybody he wants to. So it's been interesting to see him kind of take a step up with he had the Janela feud earlier this year, and now he's been feuding with Richard Holiday, which we'll get to later on at the show you guys went to. But yeah, I enjoyed this show quite a bit.
Chad, did you get a chance to watch it? Just chime in with if you've gotten to see any of that stuff or
I did. I did watch the War Games with the live watch, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, violent as expected. So certainly lived up to it. It felt like a quintessential GCW match. Maybe a little bloated, but you got to have some of that with it. So a lot of violence, a lot of fun stuff mixed in. So good time.
All right, on night 2 from Atlantic City, we had Masha Slamovich defeats Jack Cartwheel. Tony Deppen defeated Shane Mercer. Bussy and Rena defeated Blake Christian, Charles Mason, and Pero. That sounds fun. The 6-man tag team death match. Oh, okay. That's Suzaki, Segura. Valento Jack defeated Jimmy Lloyd, Joey Janela, and Sawyer Eck. And then the East-West Express defeated Garbage Daddies. Is it Garbage?
Yeah,
garbage.
You gotta say it like
garbage.
Like Matt and Ryan Gray.
Right.
Garbage.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Say it again, Matt.
Garbage.
Garbage Daddies. That's a hell of a name for Alec Price and Cole Radford. And then Takeda, am I saying that right? I don't know. Defeated Mance Warner, and then Kasai defeated Matt Tremont. Ooh, did you get to watch any of those?
So I kind of skimmed through this. I did see the last 3 matches, and all of them were really great. Looks like this is probably Nick Wayne's last match in GCW. They kind of gave him I think it was after this match. They kind of gave him the send off because he's doing the whole AEW thing. So that was kind of a bummer to see. I mean, you kind of knew it was coming. They've been hinting at it for months, but still kind of a bummer to see. And he went out there and had a hell of a match to wrap up his run in GCW. And Takeda and Mance Warner was insane. As was Kasai and Tremont. And Tremont's another one of these guys. He just has a presence when he fucking walks out to the ring.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Especially in Jersey. The crowd just loses their mind whenever Separate Ways comes on. His entrances are great to see live. So, yeah, definitely check those 2 death matches out. Those were both really well done.
Well, let's talk about Nick Wayne a little bit because we've enjoyed him immensely in GCW. And I know that he had to move on to AEW. Have you watched anything that he's done there? Do you think that was a good career choice?
I mean, listen, if you're an 18-year-old kid and someone's waving around whatever kind of money that was, I'm assuming it was like, I don't know the exact number, but whatever it was, you're 18 years old. It's going to be hard to say. Hell, it'd be hard to say no at 32, like I am right now. But especially at 18, someone waves that kind of money under your nose, like pretty tough to say no to. So, I mean, it sucks, but I get it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It sucks, but I get it. But Nick Wayne, I thought, he did amazing work in GCW, and he really wrestles with a lot of maturity for somebody his age.
I mean, listen, that match he had with Ospreay that I was at in Providence was insane. That a 17-year-old kid can be able to keep up with Ospreay like that is just crazy.
And then let's see what else. Did you get to see any of those, Chad?
Yeah, I like this show a lot actually. Takeda, he's probably in the last 10 years my favorite deathmatch guy from Japan. So him versus Mance was really good. I liked that match and the main event, which was Kasai versus Tremont, both really violent death matches, but they were kind of different. The Mance Takeda match utilized the doors and whatnot, and then Tremont versus Kasai, which I was wondering, I was interested. I was like, when was the last time they met and matched up because I knew Tremont's kind of one of those weird guys where he's been around forever, but he doesn't have like that many matches. Like he's been around for 14, 15 years now, and he probably has like 600 total matches.
Oof.
So he's kind of one of those guys that he's not somebody that's doing usually like 100 matches a year or whatnot, wrestling every weekend. So they'd only wrestled once in 2014. So this is the first time they'd matched up, period, in 9 years. And that match is great. A lot of throwing light tubes, a lot of violence.
Yeah.
Didn't overstay its welcome. Like that was a great death match in my opinion. So both of those I think are well worth seeking out.
All right, take us to Tokyo, Japan.
We go to live and die in all caps, in Tokyo from October 10th. Masha Slamovich defeated Unagi Sayaka. Maki Ito beat Jimmy Lloyd. Gringo Loco and Joey Janela defeated Blake Christian and Jordan Oliver. Los Macizos defeated Bussy. I almost said Bushy, which is a different thing. Rina Yamashita defended the Ultraviolent title against Takayuki Yuiki. And in the main event, it was John Wayne Murdoch defeating Valento Jack. Kind of a quick show here, only 6 matches, but I think everything moved pretty well. And again, all the death matches this month I thought have been really good. This one in particular, Valento Jack is a guy I hadn't really watched before he showed up in GCW. He's fucking awesome. Just the stuff he does. He's got that half mask and he's all scarred up and he's really good at the death match thing, and being in there with a guy like John Wayne Murdoch, it was really great to see. So yeah, it's a quick show. I want to say it's like maybe just over 2 hours. So the whole show you can bang out in a few hours. And it was a super fun show. Every time they go to Japan, I feel like they always put on a pretty good show.
The Gringo Loco with Joey and Blake Christian with Jordan Oliver's interesting matchup of styles there. I should probably go back and watch that. What about the next night?
So we had, I believe this is the show that was in Kirikuen Hall, which is one of the most famous arenas in Japan. Bussy and Maki Ito defeated Kikutaro, and Kikutaro. There was 3 Kikutaros there. One of them played by Jimmy Lloyd, the other one played by Abdullah Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Los Macizos defeated Sasaki and Segura to win the GCW tag team titles.
What?
We had a 4-way death match as John Wayne Murdoch defeated Takeda, Sakuda, and Valento Jack. Vikingo defeated Gringo Loco. Blake Christian defended the world title against Jordan Oliver. Jun Kasai defeated Joey Janela in a death match. And in the main event, Rina Yamashita beat Masha Slamovich for the Ultraviolent title. This was another great show. Big show, a lot of big match. Those last 4 matches, like, easily could have main evented a normal GCW show. Vikingo and Gringo just flying around Kirikuen Hall was cool to see. They pimped Kasai and Janela as being like one of the best death matches ever. And I mean, it was still very good, but I liked Kasai and Tremont a lot more personally. And look, Rena's quickly becoming one of my favorites in GCW, and every time she goes out there in a death match, it's awesome to see. And her and Masha just going out there throwing bombs for 20 minutes was awesome. Not quite as good as I thought the cage match they had was better, the one where Blake won the title, but I really enjoyed this match a lot too.
How you feel about Rena, Chad?
Yeah, I've always liked Rena, and I thought Rena versus Masha was the best match on these 2 shows. For me, I thought it was really good, and good progression, violent, and really good near falls as well. So I really enjoyed the main event on that show. And I thought they did a good job actually pacing on those 2 shows, because you had the first night that Matt said was 6 matches, kind of a warm up, and it was in Shakiba, first ring, like probably 400, 500 seat, like super no vacancy arena, and then in Kurikan, like, they beefed up, as they go to Kurikan Hall, which is obviously a bigger venue and a historic venue too.
What do we think about the title change for the tag team there?
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll get to it with the show we went to, Jenny, but a lot of kind of hot potatoes. So I don't know if they just wanted to have like them as the bridge to where they eventually want to go. but seems that way.
Yeah, it feels like they just wanted to have Sasaki and Segura win the title for the Japan tour and then get it off of them as they're coming back to the States. That's kind of how it felt like to me.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I'm not mad at it. I the tag picture really is, everybody that we've seen has had pretty much a run,
Mhm.
with a little few that haven't, but it's hard coming off East West Express for me
Right.
because I still want them to have the title. So uh, I'm okay with us switching it around until we get somebody that I feel like I can get behind.
I think that's the thing is that, East West Express were the guys for a pretty long time by GCW standards. And I think right now they're kind of just looking for that team to kind of take their spot. Maybe it's Macizos
Hmm.
again. I mean, they've had it for like 4 or 5 times at this point. And at one point, I think they had it for like almost 2 years at one point. So, I mean, if they really wanted to, they could probably go back to them as guys who could be carry the torch for the tag division. But
Hmm.
I maybe they're trying to see what else they have. I don't know, but we'll see where it goes. I mean, but yeah, I just think with Nick Wayne leaving seemingly for good, it kind of threw the tag division in flux.
Yeah, it did, sadly. What did we get in LA?
So we had Blood on the Hills 2 from the Ukrainian Cultural Center in LA. Jordan Oliver defended the JCW title against Jordan Cruz. Lil Cholo defeated Bobby Flacco. Los Macizos beat Violence is Forever to retain the tag titles. Thrussie of Ali Catch, Dark Sheik, and Effie defeated the Garbage Daddies of Alec Price, Bodie Young, Prodigy, and Cole Radrick. Jack Cartwheel beat Tony Deppen. Sawyer Wreck beat Jimmy Lloyd. Blake Christian defended the world title against Paul London. Santana Jackson beat JTG. Good Lord, there's a match. And Perez and Gringo Loco beat Aramis and Ray Horace in the main event.
Ooh, okay. So, what did you think about that show?
Kind of, I don't want to say filler, but compared to what we've talked about
Yeah.
previously, it's kind of a downgrade to what we've already seen. I mean, kind of cool to see Paul London pop up out of nowhere and JTG also out of nowhere. So, I mean, the LA shows, they're always interesting. That crowd is always pretty red hot for anything. And the main event, it was a little long. It was almost 30 minutes, which is probably a bit too much, but it was still
Mhm.
pretty good for what it was. And Santana Jackson is very entertaining, just
Yes.
super entertaining. More Santana Jackson, I think we need in our lives.
Do you agree, Chad?
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it,
Mhm.
but quite the highlight. The one thing on this, I didn't see this show until after we went to the show live, and I was skimming through it yesterday, and that tag match where they beat Violence is Forever, like, sub 10 minutes.
Mhm.
It was very weird. It was like,
Mhm.
do you know what was coming up in a couple of weeks? Or I just found that odd because it didn't even feel like it was one of those where like, oh, we'll get you back, like this
Mhm.
is the first in a series. It was kind of like, all right, this is just a token defense, and then
Mhm.
I don't know.
Interesting main event on there too. I don't know if I know Ray Horace.
I think he's a West Coast guy, right, Chad? He's
Yeah,
LA. He
yeah,
does a lot of stuff out there.
yeah.
But it was kind of a weird main event. I mean, you had Blake Christian there, so I don't know why they decided to have him and Paul London not main event. Like when I remember when I saw this card, I thought for sure that was going to go on last. I mean, maybe
Mhm.
there's a reason why they didn't. I don't know, but just kind of weird.
And yeah, okay. I was just checking. On one of your other podcasts that you do on the No So feed, you'll meet Ray Horace at some point, Jenny.
Oh, is that right? Okay,
Mm,
good.
Mhm,
I would
mhm.
imagine that would be Lucha Underground that
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah.
mhm.
Yes.
Coming up in season 2. So
Okay,
I,
good. So
I
not
didn't
long.
know. I didn't know when he dipped in, but yeah, it looks like season 2.
Cheap plug for linking up luchas
Mhm.
right here on No So. That's a fun show. I like to like to dip into that promotion. It's very interesting. All right, what do we got next, Maddie?
We had GCW Please Buddy from Sauget, Illinois. I think is how you say that.
That sounds right.
Blake Christian defeated Warhorse to retain the world title. Jordan Oliver defeated Alec Price in Man Like Duress. Bullet Club War Dogs of Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd defeated the former Bang brothers, now known as Bang and Matthews, of Austin Matthews and Davey Bang. That's a great name, Davey Bang. Maki Ito defeated Shaza McKenzie. Gringo Loco beat Mike Bailey. Violence is Forever defeated Bussy. Santana Jackson defeated Dan the Dad. We had Tony Deppen winning a scramble match against Adrian Atlantis. Bobby Flacco, Braden Toon, Jeffrey John, and KLD. Masha Slamovich beat Joey Janela. Deathmatch Royalty, which is Matt Cardona and Steph DeLander, beat Charlie Evans and Everett Connors. And Jimmy Lloyd and Los Macisos defeated the Second Gear Rejects of Manders, John Wayne Murdoch, and Mance Warner. Jesus, there's a lot of matches on that show.
That's a lot of words you just said.
It sure is, yeah.
Any of those matches stand out?
The main event was fun. Death match, just 6 guys.
Love them.
Just 6 guys throwing bombs, or sex guys, like I was about to say. I like the way this building looks too. There's a dinginess to this Illinois nightclub, whatever it is that they run. I think this is the same building where Sandman nearly died last year. If you remember that tag match.
Oh God, yes.
Him and Scorpio teamed up, and Sandman got knocked out by that fucking door. It was that same building, so. Yeah,
so the ghost of Sandman resides.
Right, he was in the crowd, the ghost of Sandman, drinking his ghost Miller Lite and his smoking his ghost Camels, but yeah, I like there's a vibe about that building that I think is really cool. And good to see Cardona back with Steph DeLander, just them doing their thing against Charlie Evans and Everett Connors, who I think we've seen maybe once or twice, but I'm not too familiar with them. Masha and Joey was really good. It's funny, they actually wrestled each other at an indie show here a couple months ago, and it was kind of a similar match to that they had there. So that was pretty good. So yeah, a lot of matches on this show, more matches than I think we're used to seeing on a GCW show, but I enjoyed it. Obviously not the biggest show of the weekend, which we'll get to, but certainly a good one.
Chad, did you get to check out any of those?
Yeah, I watched the show. I thought it was a fun show. I agree. I like the building. They have there's like brick on the floor that has a neat aesthetic.
Ooh.
And I was a little perplexed that they booked this the night before Atlanta, because I mean, this is St. Louis. That's not exactly like one town over. So
Right.
I would assume most people flew into Atlanta. Either there, they had a really long drive. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the logistics look like, but it was an odd like back to back pairing. But yeah, I mean, this show was fun. I all that Matt mentioned. I will say the Speedball versus Gringo Loco match. Gringo is always somebody that, like, when he comes out of the curtain, I'm usually like, all right, okay. I'm pretty like iffy on, but he always seems to a lot of times overperform for me. And this match did that. I was like, when they came out, I was like, all right, we'll see what happens here. And it turned out to be a really good match in my mind. So that was cool.
Gringo has something about him. I would totally agree. He kind of flies under the radar a little bit. Not somebody we talk about a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say that. It sounds weird. I think about him because I got to meet him at a show, and he introduced himself to me as Charlie, and I really liked that. I thought it was really cool. And he was just like very appreciative and took a picture and everything. So stuff like that sticks out, and I've always enjoyed his matches. So I would be interested in a title reign.
Yeah, he's interesting. I mean, well, they could. I think he's tough because if you give it to him, you don't want it to feel like, like a retirement gold watch ceremony, right?
Ooh,
like
true.
you don't want it to say like, all right, like you've been around. I think they could do something with that, but No, I mean, I just think he's like a great like carpenter utility wrestler. Like, I mean, he's on a lot of these cards, and I mean, he's probably not someone that like if you get real spreadsheety and star rating, you know, he's not going to be like in your match of the year candidates or whatnot. But he really helps fill out a card, and he really works hard on all his matches. You can see that. So you got to commend him for that, especially at his age. I mean, he's in his 40s, I'm sure.
Is he?
He's got to be.
Really?
Been around for 20 years.
That's true. I don't know why I was thinking he was like younger, but you're right.
I would guess he's older than me. I'm 37. I mean, I know I couldn't flip around like he did. You don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. So.
I mean, I kind of do. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Y'all make it to show 100.
Yeah.
I'll do my Gringo Loco Lucha rolling.
You said it. You said it, and I will hold you to it, Matt. We only have 90 more episodes.
That's it.
Right.
All right. So that leads us to the Atlanta show. What happened there, Matt?
Si or No was the name of this show on November the 4th. 5-way scramble. Alec Price beat Braden Toon, Hunter Drake, Man Like Duress, and Rico Gonzalez. Charles Mason defeated Mike Jackson. Good God Almighty. Maki Teth Bussy defeated Young, Dumb, and Bros. Tony Deppen beat Brogan Finley. Jimmy Lloyd beat Steph DeLander. Bullet Club War Dogs defeated the Second Gear Crew. Santana Jackson defeated Mike Bailey. Blake Christian successfully defended the world title against Tank. Masha Slamovich beat Gringo Loco. Violence is Forever wins the tag titles from Los Macizos. And in the main event, a hardcore match, Joey Janela defeated Jacob Fatu. Jenny and Chad, the floor is yours.
So this show was really fun. I have a couple of videos I can show here. But I mean, I really want to talk about them all, but we can't do that. I will say, I'll talk about one of them later, but Santana Jackson and Mike Bailey was so fucking fun. It was so fun.
Yep.
Dressed as Michael Jackson, and they both just really went like, I thought Mike showed a lot of more personality than I would have expected in a match like that. What did you think of that one, Chad?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it to you while we was there, but I mean, I think Mike working in DDT in Japan helps with a match like that. But a match like that with the success is, I mean, it was a longer match. It was over 10 minutes, but it never got to the point where it was too drug out. So that was good. And with Santana Jackson, like the crowd has to be into the gimmick for it to be successful. If you're going to be, you know, serious wrestling fan or whatever, that's not going to go along with it. Like he's going to die out there.
Yeah.
And what it is. But this crowd was really into it. Like,
he got over for sure.
The finish with the Thriller dancing while it was going on, the Thriller mask, and how that was like this mystical weapon that if he put it on. I mean, it was absurd, but I mean, it was very fun. I mean, it was a very fun, absurd match, and somebody like Mike Bailey, I think this is a cool match for him because he is someone that, you know, if you're making like a Wrestler of the Year list, like he's in contention for something like that. And to me, this type of match is a resume builder because it's like, all right, like he's just coming off this like highly regarded, you know, action match with Will Ospreay on TNA or whatever, Impact, whatever they are this week. And it's like, this is a complete opposite match from that. And it's even a complete opposite match from the match he had the night before with Gringo Loco. But it really shows his versatility. He was very giving. He actually lose this match. He lost.
It's amazing. I couldn't believe it.
It was very shocking. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was memorable too.
So here's where, if you're just listening to us, I'm sorry, but I got some clips. I want to show some video clips. Here we go. right, so I showed that because it's Allie and Effie, and they're amazing, and they have one of the best intros ever. Allie was getting down in the corner. I love her. I love them. They had a great match. What did you think of that match?
Maki had a young fan that was dressed up like her. That was adorable. Right there in the on the balcony. No, I mean, so I will say that Bang and Matthews aren't my cup of tea, so to speak. But I thought they did well in this match, accentuating the strengths of Maki and Bussy, and I like that the finish kind of played off some of the things in the beginning with like the headbutt, like Maki missed the headbutt early on in the match, and then the finish was all three hitting the headbutt. So I mean, this was another fun match. I mean, this show's a great variety show. I'll say this: like, if this is a show where you want a lot of variety, I mean, we got it. We had brawls, we had comedy matches, kind of spot fest type matches. Great kind of variety show for me.
It was hard to cut down on the clips I wanted to show, but here's another one. Effie, another one of those guys who over delivers on his matches. Like he just it's you think of personality first, but then in the ring, he's always just great. Like it's never bad. I don't think I've ever seen a bad match. Everybody loves him.
And so you can throw him in there for anything. He can do the tag stuff. He can do the comedy stuff. He's done death matches before, so I mean, he's one of those versatile guys who can do anything.
Right.
So lucky to have so many. Let's see which clip this one. Did I already show that one? Let's go with this one.
So you're right.
I had a commentary there.
I love that clip, and I'll talk about that match later. But Matt, do you have any comments?
I was going to ask you guys what you thought of Jacob Fatu, just in general, because he's like the one guy who was in MLW who I liked. So I was curious what you guys thought about him, just in general.
Well, here, let's do this, because I want to talk about him. Well, we've kind of wrapped up this portion, and we're going to do our match picks, and then we can talk about him. How about it?
Aye.
So let's care a lot. Yeah, we care. We care so much, Matt, about
Mm-hmm.
these
Mm-hmm.
match picks like we always do. And I don't think it's any surprise that my pick is Joey Janela versus Jacob from that main event from Atlanta. Because, boy, they went all around. They went all over center stage. They took tables. I should have showed those clips, but it's kind of awkward because where we were sitting on the floor and then they went up and I couldn't really see what they were doing up there. But they went all over. It took a lot of time. There was just all this unexpected heat coming off
Mm-hmm.
coming off that too. Like I was like, okay, well, why they hate each other? I didn't know they hated each other, but that I'm just a Joey mark. So anything that Joey wants to do, I'm there. Like I'm just all about it. He got his ass beat a good amount, but then came back to win the match. I I, I just thought it was awesome. And then I was screaming for Joey, and just randomly just yelling out, "Let's go, Joey!" And he said, "Shut the fuck up." So I got told off during the match, so that was fun.
Sure did.
Wow.
Did you like this one, Chad?
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought this was a really good match. Only negative I had was the construction of the door spot took a minute there.
Yeah, that
I
was kinda
rewatched that
awkward.
back on the Fight Plus. I mean, it was awkward for us to see what was going on, and then even on the stream itself, when I rewatched, it was a little much. But I thought they did a good. I'm interested to see what they do with Fatu going forward, whether he's going to be around, because this almost felt like in some ways a standalone like show angle where he came out, him chunking Brogan Finley into the cage.
That was nasty.
That was sick.
There's somebody recorded it on the same side me and Jenny was sitting, but elevated up. Like the fight angle looks okay, but from our angle, like it looked horrifying. And that video that you can find on Twitter, like it is nasty. Like Brogan took this wild, like he got folded up like an accordion. So then like Fatu ran out again too. So he kind of was wreaking havoc all over the show. And I like that like at the end you had kind of the the GCW main guys with Sawyer and Mance come out and like beat him up, and then ended up getting the win. Like he attacked Mance earlier, so that was a good payback too. So I really enjoyed the match, and I thought they both worked hard, told a good story. The brawling aspects were good. Like this was after there was the tag match, so they of course swept all the glass under the ring real quickly. But Fatu was like barefoot and walking around like around ringside with all this shattered glass. So I mean, he was a maniac on the show, like yelling at the crowd, telling everybody to shut up, all this. So it was a fun time.
Takes a lot of balls to yell "fuck this bitch" to Sawyer Red.
Yeah, really.
I was like, "Oh no, sir, we're not doing that today." I got deeply offended by that. So he worked hard, yeah, and Joey always does. What's your match pick, Maddie?
So, having not been at the Atlanta show, I need to go with War Games for my match pick, because my God, that's just 45 minutes of violence. And if that's what you're looking for, that's the match for you. I mean, the amount of glass and light tubes they used in that match, I think they cleaned out an entire Lowe's or Home Depot. It was ridiculous. And that bump that Cyclope took to the floor from that top of that scaffold. I don't know how he got up and walked. Like, just insane, completely insane. So I got to go with that. And it didn't feel like 45 minutes, which is the craziest fucking thing. Because usually if there's a 45-minute match, I feel every second of it.
So go back and watch that. You can find it probably on our YouTube channel. Me and Matt did that live watch in October. And yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I love that match too. Chad, did you have a choice?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Tremont versus Kasai. I talked about it earlier, but I love that match. It felt like a good callback to the early 2000s too, with just a bunch of light tubes getting hurled, and
I gotta
Fun,
watch that.
fun time.
Yeah.
Fun time.
Any other thoughts from the Atlanta show? I kind of moved us along and didn't really talk about the whole card.
Yeah, only other thing I did like the tag title change. I thought that was good. I thought the way they worded that match, you could see that was in the cards because like you had both of Violence is Forever doing some a nasty blade job. Like both of them were just bleeding buckets. And then they busted out the panes of glass for the big spot. That won the titles for them. So I really liked how that match built. And then I really like the War Dogs. I think they're a cool addition too. They bring kind of like a strong style element. But especially like Mance and Coughlin, when they were chopping, like they were going after each other, and like Mance has really good punches. But I mean, being on the front row, like we're right there, right? And he was making contact. Like they
It
were
was stiff.
they were beating each other up. So that was a really fun, like stiff Hoss little tag match in the middle of the card. But again, a really enjoyable card from start to finish. Like the other show we went to was in April. Like I like that show. It had some fun stuff on it, but I like this show better. I thought this one flowed better. Nothing really overstayed its welcome to me, and everything was successful. Even Blake Christian, which
Yes. Defeating Tank. That was one of the videos that I couldn't get to load because Tank puts Blake Christian through the table, and I got a great video of it. And looks great. I will forever be the one screaming for Blake Christian.
Yeah, you've now in subsequent Atlanta shows, you've shit on Mike Jackson and Tank, like two Southern legends.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, Mike Jackson's like 85. He couldn't hear Jenny shouting at him.
He was cheering for Mason over Mike Jackson. That was ridiculous.
Kill the old bastard.
Well, like him in his little Ross bulk suit, and she's cheering for him against this.
I was cheering for Pero.
Pero on the outside.
Pero was great. I'm obsessed with Pero.
Like, what are we doing? Mason.
Look, Action Mike has had his career. He's
all 70 years of it.
Yeah, he can still walk on the top ropes like nobody's business though.
Man.
Still is fun. Not gonna lie. And Tony Deppen is always really fun too.
Yep.
I thought they had a really good match.
Yeah, that I guess that was a little bit of a news match too, because I mean we like Brogan said that's his last match in GCW. I don't know if he'll work any other indie dates, but it seems like he's headed somewhere. I mean, obviously his brother's in New Japan with Regal at the PC, and Finley still in good standing there. I mean, I think that's a possibility too, that he may be in the next class there. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, well,
he's gotten really good. I mean, he hasn't been showcased much in Game Changers, but for Action Wrestling down in Georgia, he turned heel, and I think that's really when he flourished in the past year, where he developed a heel persona and was just like nasty in his matches. Really reminded me of Finley Senior in his day, like in the late 80s over in England. So I'm interested to see how he develops as a wrestler.
And I will do a little quick shout out for Steph DeLander with the Jimmy Lloyd match.
Yeah, that was only, I would say, bizarre booking decision. I don't know why Jimmy won that match.
I don't know either. I was very
I don't think I would have done that, but
no, that's a weird one. Yeah,
but I love seeing her, and she always lights up a crowd too.
She said she don't speak ratchet.
She
to the people getting ATL host.
She 100% does.
That was amazing. Yeah, she was good.
Volume.
I'm an outlaw. Quick on
You're an outlaw, Maddie.
I've
Did you know
I've
that?
heard that before. Yeah.
We got a couple of things to preview coming up.
So we are going to go to November 17th from Seattle. I don't know if they've ever been to Seattle. For a show called Going and Going, which apparently is sponsored by the Energizer Bunny. We have Nicole Matthews will face Maki Ito. Matt Cardona will face Santana Jackson.
Oh, fun.
And for the GCW World title, Blake Christian is going to face Shaft, excuse me, Shaft. Not Schiff, Shaft. So,
Shaft.
SCH
Shaft was interesting.
Yeah, Shaft. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be a hell of a thing.
Give me that Matt Cardona match.
Yeah.
There's the chance he says something offensive.
I don't believe not him. That doesn't sound like something he would do. But yeah, that could be something. Good Lord. Then we go to Winston-Salem, North Carolina on the 24th, which I think that's Black Friday. That sounds right. For WrestleCade weekend, Maki Ito versus Kenzie Page. And this is the match that I can't believe is happening. George South, Kerry, and Ricky Morton versus Insane Clown Bussy, which is Alley Catch, Effie, and Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse. God almighty.
You always wanted to see Kerry Morton versus Effie?
I've always wanted to see Violent J versus George South is what I've always wanted. Then we have Matt Cardona versus Mike Bailey.
Wow.
And Blake Christian defends the world title against Billy Starks. So any thoughts on Insane Clown Bussy?
I love the name. That's awesome.
I saw that and I almost spit out my drink and I wasn't drinking anything. That's God. I need to watch that immediately. Yeah. Then we go to Hartford, Connecticut on December the 2nd for Come On Dude, as Blake Christian defends the world title against Alec Price, and Unagi Sayaka will face Lufisto. That's all that's announced for that so far.
You gonna go?
Game time decision, I will say. I was at the last one when Nick Gage faced Psycho Clown, so there's a strong chance I end up going to this one at the very last second, but it will be probably a last second decision, I will say.
Come on, dude, you got to.
Well, you know what? It's right there in the name. They're telling me to. I kind of have to.
Come on, dude. Make a decision.
Kind of reaching the bottom of the barrel on some of these names.
Yeah, that one's a little rough.
What do you mean?
Ours was C or no, for God's sake.
Come on, dude. Followed up by, hey, man.
Where's my car?
Yeah.
Do you have the Continuum Transfunctioner? I've seen that movie a lot. You can't outquote me with "Dude, Where's My Car?" The next night, we go to New York City for "What Is Your Choice?" ? As Unagi Sayaka will face Billy Starks, and I believe they have also announced that Little Guido will be wrestling on the show.
Oh, shit! I gotta go get my Italian lesson of the week.
Jenny's going to go to New York City now to go see Little Guido. 12-9, we have Highest in the Room 2, the second time they've been Highest in the Room in L.A. as Maki Ito will face Speedball, Mike Bailey. That should be something.
Interesting.
Then we go to December the 30th, back in Atlantic City for a weekend. We have the Nick Gage Invitational 8. And you mentioned if he was sticking around earlier, Jacob Fatu will be in the Nick Cage Invitational 8, so he's going to do a deathmatch tournament. That should be something. Cool. Also, 4 names announced. We have Jacob Fatu, Risa Serra. I'm going to butcher all of these names. Daiju Wakamatsu and Emerson Jane. I think I got that one right.
Yeah, you did good.
Thank you. And then announced earlier today, as we are recording this, New Year's Eve at a show called The Aftermath in Atlantic City, Nick Gage versus Jun Kasai. Somebody may die in that match. I know I've said that a lot, but I actually mean it. I mean it this time. Someone may die in that match.
I mean, that's just a crazy match because like they were both in War Games, right? But before then, they hadn't been in a match together on U.S. soil since 2001.
Jesus.
And they never have had a singles match. which is
Wow.
insane. Like if you look at their cage match together, like a lot of tags, they've had 14 matches together. But yeah, all tags. So this is the first singles match between those two. So I expect that to be a war. Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell of a way to end the year on New
Yeah.
Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And then the other big announcement is we finally have dates for the collective in Philly, as it will take place on April 4th through April 6th. So the collective is a thing that's happening, all 25,000 shows that'll be happening in WrestleMania weekend. I forgot the name of the building. I know it's not the ECW arena. I can look up quick, which kind of bummed me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was not happy about that.
But at least they're doing shows in Philly, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, me too. Is it odd? Is it unusual? Is it weird that Nick Gage is doing these dream matches? Like,
he has been doing a lot of them lately.
Right?
Like are we getting towards the end here?
Yeah,
What
that's what I
doing?
think. I mean, you got to be. I mean,
he's facing Speedball.
How old is he, right?
Yeah, right. He's been around for a while.
He had the Speedball match, Vikingo, Psycho Clown. I mean, he's kind of running the gamut of, like, not necessarily all like dream matches, but like kind of like matches you didn't know you wanted until you see it on paper and you're like, oh shit, type of thing. So, I mean, he's got to be in his mid 40s, right? And
43. I just looked it up.
Right, and that's a hard.
Really?
There's a lot of tread on those tires.
That's a hard 43. Yeah, that's a hard 43.
Respectfully.
No.
Respectfully. When I got shoulder blocked for his entrance, which was cut. That was cut from the fight. I know. I was so sad. I was so sad because I was ready to see how ridiculous I looked with him bouncing me around. And
I got the fist bump. I was so happy.
Oh my god. Chaos. That is chaos.
Being
in the middle of that entrance.
It is a thing.
Yeah.
It's something.
Like the guy that was sitting next to us was sitting down, and he like literally like grabbed his shirt and pulled him up, which was hilarious.
Son of a bitch!
That was my spot of the night. Yeah, my boy.
Oh my gosh! All right, so I can't wait to hear reports back from Hartford. Maddie,
live on location.
I guess, yeah. I'll call in, page in live. I'll do a live podcast report.
Stagger Lee Souza.
From when Jenny forces me to drive 2.5 hours to Hartford.
You got to do it. Hey, I had to fly, so just saying.
That's a good point.
You can do it. Thanks for joining us, Chad, being our first ever guest. Appreciate you. And is there anything you want to promote?
No, just please check out all the shows on the North-South Connection. YouTube really helps a lot. If you could like and subscribe, leave comments. We love the interaction. And I know from somebody that was kind of in on the ground floor with Justin and trying to work and build this thing, like the dedication that everybody's shown is amazing. And we build a community, we build friendships with each other, so it's more than just the shows themselves. So please support. It's great.
It is well said. And we have that War Games project coming up, and you were a big part of ranking those matches, so check those out every day.
Yeah, that'll be running right up to Survivor Series this year.
All right. What about you, Matt?
Right here on the No So feed, we have the Extreme Three-Way Dance, which you are on, Jenny. We are in 1998. The November to Remember episode is either out now or by the time you're hearing this, or maybe out soon. Who can say? By the time it's coming soon. Listen to it. November to Remember 98. We got Highway to the Impact Zone on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. We got YouTube Roulette on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. So listen to all that. Follow me on Twitter at msouza1991.
There you go. Please do all that. And then follow me at Jenny Position. And then the show is GCDub Pod.
Okay,
sure.
That sounds right.
something like that. But we're on the Twitter as well. And once again, I wanted to remind everybody, I usually do at the end of our shows, to check out the GCW Plant podcast because they do deep dives into the shows that we just kind of preview and mention and, speak about a little bit. They do the real work on that. And so listen to them. They're really great and they've been really great to us.
Mhm.
Hopefully doing some collaboration soon with that show. So looking forward to that. And check me out every Wednesday right here on North South. One of my shows will be up. And we appreciate you. And we'll see you next time. Maddie, it is MDK.
All fucking day.
Yeah, it is.